Hi, this is Mrs. McNulty, and in this video, I will step you through how to create the Name Pop Art practice project using Google Drawings. The first thing you want to do is go to your Canvas dashboard. I'm going to use the 6th grade module. Go to Modules. Come down to the Name Pop Art module and go to the Name Pop Art Practice Project. Click that to open it. Okay, and then we need to click the link on the assignment page to get to the actual document in Google Drawings. Okay, the first thing I'd like you to do is come up and put a hyphen in your last name. Okay. And then what we're going to do in this project is learn how to use a few tools in Google Drawing that will help us for our techniques project and for then your creative project in the Name Pop Art project. Okay, so there are 9 tasks that we need to do. The first one says to use the line tool, draw a vertical line and draw a horizontal line. Okay, now a Google Drawings looks a lot like a Google Doc. It has the same file, edit, view, insert, undo, redo, print, zoom, tools that the Google Docs has. The tools that we're going to really focus on today are the select tool, or the select arrow, this line tool, the shape tool, the text box, and insert an image. Okay, so for the first box, we're going to use the line tool and draw a vertical line and a horizontal line. So if you click on this drop down for the line tool, you'll see that actually there are quite a few lines we can pick from. This first box just wants us to use the plain line tool. To use that, I'm going to click in the upper left hand corner, and it gives me a diagonal line by default. This blue box around the line is called the bounding box, and these highlighted endpoint and start points are movable. Okay, so now that we have our line and we know it's selected because the blue select arrow is highlighted, I can click on that endpoint. I'm left clicking on my mouse and dragging over so that to make a vertical line. Okay, it's still selected because it has this blue highlighting going on, so I'm going to just click outside the document to deselect it. Okay, now we want to draw a horizontal line, so let's go back and select our line tool again, click to get a line. Okay, and this time we want to grab that endpoint and drag it up to make a horizontal line. Okay, again, it's still selected, so I'm going to click outside the document just to deselect it. Okay, and those were all left clicks I was doing on the mouse. Okay, number 2, use the curve tool, draw a wavy line, and then draw a shape. Okay, so we're going to go back up to the line tool, and we see the curve tool. Okay, not the curve connector, but the curve tool. So we're going to click on that, left click, come down to this box, and this one's a little different than you probably used before. You have to click every time you want the line to change direction, but it's not going to be a straight line, it's going to be a nice curved line. So I'll say click every time I'm clicking, and you'll notice that it changed direction. So I'm going to click, 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 and when I get to the end, I'm going to click it again. Okay, that to end the line. We can see it's still selected. So because I don't have my arrow on the cursor, I'm going to come up here and hit the arrow. That means it's totally selected with this bounding box and these anchor points on the corners. But if I click outside the document now with the arrow as my cursor, we'll deselect that line. Okay, so it's a nice organic line. Now we're going to use that same tool to draw a shape. So let's come back up here and select it. You just have to kind of check and make sure which tool you're in. Okay, since the selection tool was the last tool we used, we're still in that tool, so you have to go back and choose the curve tool. Okay, and now I'm going to click and click and click and click and click and click. I'm all left clicking, click, click, and then when I come back, this is really neat. It's like a magnet. It automatically finds that beginning point, so it kind of jumps to connect, which we want. I'll click it once, and then it fills in automatically with this light blue color, which is the default color. You look up here in the color cup, you can see that it's has the light blue indication. We can change that later, but this is fine for now. To deselect it, I'm going to click on the selection tool and then click outside. Okay, good. Let's go on now and use the polyline tool. So let's go find that. We'll go up to our line menu. There's polyline. And this one draws straight lines. So I'm going to click and 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 click. And when I'm at the end, give it another click. Just one more click. It's selected. Okay, so I'm going to get my selection tool and then click outside the document to deselect it. Looking good. Now we have to draw a geometric shape. So geometric shape in an art sense is a shape that has more straight lines and corners. In a mathematical sense, it's a perfect circle, a perfect triangle or square. Okay, ours doesn't have to be perfect, but it is going to have straight sides and corners. Okay, so let's go back and get that polyline tool. I'm going to click and click and click and click, and I'm going to come back to the beginning and click right where I started. Okay, and you know that you were successful in clicking on that starting point because the shape filled in with a light blue. Okay, I wasn't dragging, I was just left clicking to get those points. Okay, or to get to my line to change direction. Okay, now we're going to try this scribble tool, which is the one at the bottom. It's a really handy tool. It's really easy to use. It's just like drawing with a pencil on paper. So what I'm going to do on my mouse, I'm going to left click and hold down, and then I can just draw. I'm just drawing in any, random way that I want. Okay, and when I let go, it stops the line, but the line's still selected. So we're going to come over, get our selection tool, and then click outside the box for our line. Okay, now this one we can draw a shape, but it's not going to fill in. Okay, I'm going to come back to the beginning, really close that shape, but it does not fill in. So this is a good tool just for drawing lines, okay, freeform lines. Okay, I'm going to come up to the selection tool, do that. I can also, instead of come up here and selecting the selection tool, I can just hit escape on my keyboard. That's the key in the very upper left-hand top corner. Okay. Now I'm going to use the shape tool to draw 3 different types of shapes. So here's the shape tool next to the line tool. If you click on it, you'll see there are 4 different menus that we can go to even within the shape tool. Okay. For the first one, I think I'm just going to go with a square. To draw a shape, you're going to click, left click, and drag out. Okay, and let go, and then it is automatically filled in with the light blue, automatically a bounding box around it. This time we can, when you see the 4 arrows, the crosshairs with the arrows on the end, that means you can move it anywhere you want it. Okay, move it in any direction. Move that back here. It also means when you see just the crosshairs without the arrows, if you click there, you can rotate your shape. Okay, good. Bring it back to there. I'm ready to leave that shape alone and move on to the next one. So I'm just going to hit the escape key or the arrow key and deselect it. Okay, let's try a different shape. Let's go to the arrow section this time. I'm going to pick that arrow. Again, I'm going to click and drag. I can change, I'm holding down with the left click on my mouse and seeing what shape, how long, how big, how wide I want it. I like that one. I'm going to let go of the mouse. It is still selected, so if I'm good with that, I'll just hit the escape key to get out of that selection. Try the callouts this time. I'm going to try this guy. And again, I'm going to left click on my mouse, drag out. Okay. Looks good. I'm going to hit the escape key to get out of that one. Now it says draw a shape and make the fill color red, make the border color blue, and change the border weight to 12 pixel. Okay, so we're going to go up to the shape tool. I am going to, I think I'm going to go with this donut shape this time, but you can pick any one. I'm going to click and drag, nice big shape. Okay, and my direction says make the fill color red. So come up to the paint cup here, that is the fill color. Click on it, and you see this whole variety of colors that we have to use. So right now it is light blue, so the light blue is checked, but I want to change it to red. You can change it to any of these reds. So I'm just going to take that top red. Okay, then it says change the border color to blue. That's the outline of the shape, and that's right next to the border, or the fill color is the border color. So I'm going to click on that. Very similar choices. I'm going to, I think, just pick this blue here. You can see it's black right now because of that check mark. Okay, I'm going to change it to blue. And then it says change the border weight to 12 point. So I'm going to go next to that. Here it's 1. It's selected as 1. I'm going to come down here and go to 12. And it makes it much larger so we can see it better. Okay. Again, to deselect that shape, I'm going to hit the escape key in the upper left. Okay. Number 7 says make a text box and type a sentence. I think I'm just going to have you type your name, actually. The text box is right next to the shape box, and you've probably used a text box in a Google Doc. Again, I'm going to click and drag, and I'm just going to say my name. Okay? I'd like you to type your name. Good. To get out of that, I'll just click outside the document. Number 8, select all the text in this box and change the font style, change the font color, and change the font size. So to select the type, I'm going to click and drag or highlight, which again, you've probably done before. I'm going to change the font style, okay, to, I think I'm going to go with that heavy one. Change the font color. That's over here, the text color. I'll make it green. And change the font size. I'll make it a little larger. Good. All right, our last task is to go to Insert Image, search the web, search for a red apple, and insert the photo here. Resize it to make it smaller if needed. Okay, so I'm going to go to Insert an image, search from the web, pulls up this search box on the side. I type in red apple. And hit return, and it shows me all these examples. I'll pick one, select it, and then say insert. Okay, it is too big, so I'm going to grab one of these anchor points on this corner, bring it down, use my 4-arrow tool to move it over and place it right there. Great. Click outside to deselect it. All right, now that you're finished, what I would like you to do is go back to the assignment page where we started, and you should have a blue submit button. Hit that submit button to turn it into me through Canvas. Okay. After you do that, you should see it say submitted underneath the link right here. Okay. That's how you know it's submitted. Okay. Then I'd like you to go back to the Google Drawings document and say that you want to file, make a copy, okay, and then put it in your, mine's already in my name pop art, but it might come up that you are in your Google Drive. So I'd like you to come back to your Drive and then find your art folder, okay, and put it in there.